In 2009, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. I had all of the symptoms associated with the disease. I had internal bleeding, severe cramping. I was extremely wore out and tired from losing so much blood. My doctor referred me to see a gastroenterologist. A few days later, I received a call from the nurse letting me know that I had left-sided ulcerative colitis. She told me I could quit taking one of the medications, but needed to continue taking the other one. When I asked how long I needed to stay on the medication, I was told for the rest of my life. I had a really hard time taking that in. After 5 months of being on medication, lots of ups and downs, ER visits, I had eventually missed about 2 to 3 weeks straight of work. I was so sick. I could barely even get out of bed. I had to have help. A great friend of mine took me to the hospital, and I was admitted to the hospital for about a week. In addition to the ulcerative colitis, I was also very dehydrated, had a UTI, and I was instantly pumped with a lot of prednisone. After being discharged from the hospital, I was left being on prednisone, Acecol, and Imuran. I would try to taper off of my prednisone, but every time I would start to get off of it, my symptoms would come back with a vengeance, and I just really couldn't keep my ulcerative colitis under control. I remember having a consult with my doctor, and he told me that if I wasn't able to get off of the prednisone, it would soften my bones to the point that I would probably have a broken hip or a broken bone by the time I was 27 years old. My doctor told me that extending the use of prednisone would give me medication-induced osteoporosis. This was very scary for me to think about, so he suggested surgery. A good friend of mine told me that I needed to try this water. To be honest, I was extremely skeptical. I did not understand, or I just couldn't even grasp that water could help me. But she was forceful about it. Later she told me that she really thought I was gonna die, and she wanted me to at least give this a try. So I figured it couldn't hurt. I noticed almost instantly that my energy level went up. That was really the only thing that I noticed that changed. My symptoms were still there. I got my water machine about 1 month before I was going to be having my surgery. I continued to drink at least a gallon a day. Getting the water fresh from my own machine was significant, and my symptoms started going away. It was amazing. I decided to start tapering off my prednisone and see what happens. For the first time, I didn't have a flare-up. Then I decided to start tapering off of my second medication. It was Acecol, and I remember not telling my family or friends because I knew they were all very worried about me and skeptical that, this wasn't going to work and that I was going to end up in a really bad spot again. I had a follow-up appointment with my doctor and gave him the good news. I was so excited to share it with him. He was very skeptical. I started tapering off of the Imuran in February of 2011, and March 8th of 2011 is a day I'll never forget. I took my last pill. I went back to see my doctor 6 months later in August, and he was very shocked and surprised. In fact, in my medical records, it says that a miraculous situation took place. And he said I was asymptomatic. I had no symptoms. I have now been symptom-free for over 5 years.